Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mark Loeffler Experience. Well, today we're going to be talking national housing statistics, Canadian national housing statistics, and wait, next week we might even talk US housing. Think you can handle it? We might talk US housing because, you know, when the US coughs, we might catch a cold. And they're coughing right now. But let's talk Canadian right now because they are two different markets, for sure. Anyways, so, you know, we've had smaller sales every month all year since February. So basically February was the top and then it slowly declined. Well, there was precipitous drops in the spring and through the summer, all the declines started getting smaller and there were more sales in October than there were in September. So that's good news, I guess, because usually it's a declining scale through the fall. September has the most, so yeah, it ramps up through September, and then October slightly smaller, November, December will get smaller just because, again, less people sell their homes right now. But national sales are up 1.3% month over month. We're 36% below last October. Newly listed properties are up 2.2, so we're still getting more listings than we're selling, so there's more inventory on the market, but just slightly. So it's pretty, like that's pretty even. Like we're under 1% difference, so it's kind of starting to even out. So it's cheaper to own a house this month than it was last month. It declined by 1.2% month over month and 0.8% year over year. So it's actually cheaper, even though interest rates are up, to own a house this October than it was last October. Not by much, 1%, but you know, we're like, it's happening, right? Like it's starting to happen. So actual national average sale price posted 9.9% year over year decline in October. And those numbers are going to get bigger. You're going to see November, December, January, February. They're going to see some big numbers. I think we're going to see 30, 35, 40% plus, and you're going to read headlines. But this is not month over month. This is year over year. And we know that it's going to be a massive number from February. I know that. Do you know that? You should, because you're not stupid people, because you're watching the greatest YouTube channel on YouTube. You guys can, we'll put the link down below for the Korea. You guys can go on here too. Some markets are doing better than others. You're seeing more listings in Toronto and the lower mainland, offsetting declining listings in Montreal and Halifax, Dartmouth. Sales to new listing ratio is 51.6%. So 51.6% of all listings are selling at this time, compared to 52% in September, so it's very similar. Long-term average is about 55%, so we are below that long-term average right now. So therefore, we're seeing more inventory stay on the market longer and possibly expiring at this point. I was talking to a fellow realtor who says we have well-priced properties, but 50% of his houses aren't selling. So I mean, I'm just going to share this stat with them, is that's probably the average. If you want to work with somebody above average like myself, we sell everything because, well, you know, we work with people who are motivated to sell. And we'll price it right. Like everything priced right is selling right now. 3.8 months worth of inventory on a national basis, up a little bit. Obviously, we had an all-time low earlier this year of 1.7 months in the beginning of 2022, and some markets had less than, you know, a quarter of a month, which we've gone through in the other video where we do at the beginning of the month, and which we'll probably do this week. All right, let's hit the national sales map. This is my favorite. I love doing this, and I still can't understand. Like 9.9, but you know, we're gonna see. We're just gonna go through some areas here and be like, oh, look, Greater Vancouver is still up 2% year over year. So if you bought in October last year, you're still up 2%. Victoria, I mean, you're up 11.5%. It's got to be something wrong with this. Like, Korea, call me. Like, I want to talk to you about this because this blows my mind. Well, Calgary, I guess, up 10% still because Again, it didn't have that huge run up in prices like, Ontario did. Actually, Edmonton is negative 0.6%. So, I mean, basically it's even. I'm happy to invest in a market that's going to be even. That's actually my favorite because I know if I add value, what I'm going to get. I know if it's declining, then I'm going to have to factor that in. If it's appreciating, I'm going to have to bid stupid to try to get the project that I want. Let's see Fort McMurray. So this could be skewing the national average. It's 15.7% in Fort McMurray. And this is with oil at like some, not all-time highs, but very, very high. So I'd be very worried if I was in the Fort Mac area. Grand Prairie down 9%. Ooh, might be time to start looking in some of those areas for some deals. 1.1% in Medicine Hat. Somebody was asking about Saskatchewan. Southeast Saskatchewan. Let's do Saskatoon. See, it's still up 4.4% year over year. Let's go to the Winterpeg. 1.6. Sorry you guys didn't win the Grey Cup. I guess it was just Toronto's year. My favorite. Let's check out Bancroft. Still up 7.2%. Eh? Everybody up there in Bancroft just banking cash on their home. I don't think they've had a 7% year over year increase ever in Bancroft until the last couple years, which has been just silly, obviously. Durham region's down 9%. That's a big year over year. That's pretty big. Cambridge 9.8. So we're starting to see some big numbers come here in Ontario, and they're going to get bigger. They're obviously going to get bigger. So 4.8% for Barrie. I know some Barrie agents who are just crying right now. And it doesn't seem that bad, at least from there. Hamilton, Burlington, like 6.4% year over year. Oh, my favorite, Kawartha Lakes. How am I doing there? 4.2% down. Yeah, it feels down. Like a property that sold for $1 million just sold for $760. Probably should never have sold for $1 million. Let's be honest. But it's we live in interesting times. That's for sure. Kingston, that was a pretty steady market. Yeah, still 6.3%. So, I mean, look, even in Ontario, we have such a discrepancy. We have 10% down here. We have up 6%, 7% here. Kitchener-Waterloo's probably 9%. That's even a neighbor, right? So we have Cambridge and we have Kitchener-Waterloo, and 1-2% difference in pricing. Peterborough was a pretty high. Oh, let's check Oakville here. Oakville's down 10%. Almost time to start buying in some of these areas, I think. Ottawa, that's a pretty steady. Yep, look at that. Pretty flat over the year. London, St. Thomas, for all our friends out there, 5.6 down. Yeah. Oh, Peterborough's up 1.6% still, so it's still holding pretty strong. Ottawa, we did the Sioux. Let's do the Sioux for all our friends out there. Still up 10%. But I mean, listen, it was $251,000 average sale price to $277,000. It's not bad. Sudbury, pretty flat. Again, not a bad market if it stays flat. Probably not going to stay flat. Sarnia, down 2%. Friends in Thunder Bay, pretty flat. All right, let's head out. We'll do Greater Toronto, Windsor, and Woodstock and York region. Oh, Toronto's down 1.3%. And those numbers, again, I hate the broken record, those numbers are going to get bigger, folks. Windsor's still up 6%. Woodstock, just between those, that's the good old Toyota plant out there. York region, I bet you this is the biggest. Oh, 9%, not the biggest. But York region, I find, is typically one of the harder hit areas, and it's one of the areas that goes up a lot more in the boom. Let's see Montreal, pretty good, 3%. We didn't see a huge boom there, and we're not seeing the precipitous drop that we're seeing in other areas. Greater Moncton, still up 14% year over year. That's pretty good if you ask me. Halifax, 9.5, and we're seeing a decline in listings again. So that might stick around there. Prince Edward Island. for our one viewer in Prince Edward Island, up 11.6. And Newfoundland. All my buddies out there on the rigs. 5.5%. So obviously it's, as you can see, neighboring towns at like an hour away from each other, 20 minutes, 30 minutes away. There's really no, well, I mean, there's a rhyme or reason. The lower price places are obviously doing okay, and the higher priced areas are getting hit harder. That's pretty normal, and we're going to see that more, right? Because the highest priced ones went up pretty good over the course of the time, and the lower priced ones did obviously as well. But you know, when they went from 250 to 350 instead of going from 1.4 million to 2.2 million or something stupid like that, it's a bit of a difference, right? Like, those are still affordable housing. That's still affordable housing in the area. Whereas you look at a $2.2 million home, you're like, how the hell do people afford that? Well, anyways, that's going through the national stats, and yeah, let me know what you guys think. Always want to know. Thanks everybody who's reached out on Instagram with any story suggestions. Those are going to be coming up. If you think of something, you see an article, flip it my way. I'd love to use it, and we'll give you a shout out in the video. All right, everyone. Thanks so much. Have a great Monday. See you guys all at the investor meeting right now. That's happening right now. We'll talk to you all soon. Thanks, everybody.